Yes, we are live on Facebook. Yes, welcome once again, everybody. My name is Oluwafemi, and I'm the team lead for Act of Africa. At Act of Africa, what do we do? We work on social audits, and we work around accountability, and we fight corruption, and that's what we do. It's a non-profit organization, and of course, today I have with me some set of guys that will be doing justice to the topic that we have today. And of course, like we all know, the topic that we'll be working on is data and tech as a viable accountability solution to the rising corruption cases in Nigeria. And that's what we are going to be discussing today. So I have with me, uh, anyway, they are going to introduce themselves, but let me quickly tell you how I actually linked up with these guys. They are wonderful guys anyway. Mr. Adeyemi is smiling already. He's a friend of mine. He's from BudgIT. Everybody we know BudgIT is an household name when it comes to civic tech. Is the representative of Oyo State, is the representative of BudgIT in Oyo State. And okay, Mr. Mr. Ismail is offline, but when he comes back, I'm going to introduce him to, I'm going to tell you how I actually met him. But personally, let me allow Mr. Adeyemi to introduce himself. Welcome on the program, Mr. Adeyemi.
Good afternoon, viewers. I'm Mr. Adeyemi. I'm the project tracking officer for BudgIT in your state, where we collaborate with individuals and stakeholders about constituency projects in our community. It's my pleasure to be here to discuss the about the data and the as a viable solution to the rise in corruption in our dear country.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you are still, you can still hear me.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Ismail, are you back? Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. So now, like I was saying the other time, I was introducing I've introduced Mr. Adeyemi as the representative of BudgIT in Oyo State, and now I have Mr. Ismail Auwal. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce it very well. I'm sorry, but let's have your introduction, please.
Well, as you rightly mentioned, my name is Ismail Auwal, and I work with African Center for Transparency and Anti-Corruption Advocacy here in Kano State, where I manage the anti-corruption project or program of the organization.
Okay, so of course, as you can see, the topic we are discussing today is around accountability and how do we actually look for a framework, something that can actually curb corruption. And that's why we chose data and technology. How all those things can actually work together to actually fight against corruption. So it seems the network is not good. It's not good with Mr. Ismail, but presently I still have Mr. Adeyemi with me. So, Mr. Adeyemi, let me pose the first question to you. And the first question is there a framework in Nigerian government presently to curb corruption?
With the experience I've seen so far,
Okay.
let me say to least extent, there is a framework. Least, not to most extent. I think we still have some data that we can still say, okay, to an extent, we know where things are happening, but to the large extent, we don't have. But to some extent, we can say we have data as framework. And before I even say, let me start with this. What is data? Look at it. Data is the facts and figures of information needed and processed to achieve a particular purpose or object. And this data we are talking about has a different way, like for example, different data for different purpose. We have data to achieve different purpose. So we have deep data in we have different sectors that control this economy, which is talking about Nigeria economy. You cannot be looking up data in agriculture sector and you now go to that sector. So we have different data that fit into different sectors. That's why there is what we used to say that using a right pair in a right form.
Thank you very much. Presently, Mr. Ismail, the question I've asked Mr. Adeyemi is around the fact that is there any framework in Nigerian government, in Nigeria presently, to curb corruption? Now, because one of the thematic areas or the focus of this present administration for the past 5 years now is focusing on fighting corruption. Is there any framework? Do you think there is a workable framework that fights against corruption in Nigeria?
Well, just as an introduction also, you see, we have open governance partnership here in Nigeria generally, and Kano State, which I happen to come from, is a signatory to open governance partnership, and I was the thematic lead of anti-corruption of the state, and I think that can give me a little, if not much, know-how on how the corruption industry works in Nigeria and maybe in the state. Of course, I would say we have anti-corruption institutions in the state that are functioning fairly well, and we can say they are doing fairly well actually. But when it comes to structures and framework on ground, that's where I'm having problem. To give us an insight, you see, if you study countries in where corruption are prevalent and where corruption are less prevalent, you come to understand that it is not that the people living in that country or the humans in that country are not as more or less corrupt than others. The only difference is for a country that has the less prevalence of corruption, when you look at the country and you look at the structure well, you will understand that they are laid down frameworks and mechanisms that makes corruption very, very impossible to occur.
Okay.
But when you come to Nigeria, one of the mechanisms for fighting corruption is building a very, very strong corruption prevention mechanism in institutions and MDAs. And as of 2018, we only have not more than 3 institutions that have in-house or inbuilt corruption prevention mechanisms in them. NPA, I think, and another 2, which I cannot remember which other 2 are. So going by this, to me, the frameworks laid down to fight corruption in the country at large is very, very weak.
It's very, very weak. Okay, yeah, that's a power punch for me. You said the framework that we have presently is very, very weak. What do you want to say, Mr. Adeyemi?
I want to start.
What do you want to say to that, Mr.
I want to add to what Mr. Ismail said. Yes, the framework is very, very weak because if you look if you look at it from the perspective of this current administration, since when it came in, they were saying that they were fighting against corruption. But when you trace down the culprit so far, we see that the percentage of the culprits were not capital punishment were not given to them. So if you look around it, another issue is that the issue of nepotism is even affecting the framework of the country, because you discover, I could remember there was a time somebody said, I don't want to mention that, if somebody can leave one party to come to one party, all his wrongs will be cleared away because he belongs to the rightful party. That's what we are saying, and this is the party that they are saying that they are fighting against corruption, and the person that made that statement happened to be the powerful person in that party. So we are saying that it's just like when like somebody defined democracy in Nigeria for me. He said Nigerian democracy is a government of the people who make law. and despise it to the general populace, whereby the law they make doesn't affect them, but it affects
Okay.
the general populace. So
Okay.
I concur to what Mr. Ismail said, that the
I would
framework
not.
is very weak, and we
It's
need
very
to work on strong institution to make
okay.
sure that we have a
Thank
good
you very
framework
much.
for
Thank you
anti-corruption.
very much, Mr. Adeyemi. Actually, I quickly want to make an announcement. For those of us that want to connect with us presently, that wants to actually see what we are doing, you can connect with us using what I'm going to share with you now. I'm going to share my screen, and that's the address, the address that you are supposed to connect to it. If you have access to um, if you have access to any of our the link given to our to the speakers, please don't connect to that, because I'm not going to allow it to connect. This is what you should check. You can look at this, please. You can look at that screen, what you have on the screen, that is https forward slash www.facebook.com /Actub Africa. That's the only way you can actually get to listen to us. So that's what I'm sharing with you now. You can check on the screen. Once you go to that page, Actub Africa page, then you can listen to us. Thank you very much. Yes, let's go back to where we are. Mr. Adeyemi, I can't find you here again. Okay, so once again, thank you very much thanks for holding out for me. We had to pass that message. So, Mr. Howell, I want to ask you this question. How are you guys using? Okay, let me face Mr. Adeyemi. So I'm going to come back to Mr. Ismail. So I know you are very happy when I say I want to talk to you. Now, how are you guys using technology to solve accountability and transparency issue? I don't want just a few words. Yeah, how are you guys using tech to solve accountability?
We in our organization we have something we call tracker app.
Okay.
That tracker app we use it to connect people.
Okay.
Whenever is an online something, but whenever I go to any community, we share it to some knowledgeable people there, and we lead them on how they can make use of it, that we can make use of by contacting us, telling us where their challenges is in their community, and we used to connect and see how we can. For example, now presently we make use of Twitter to engage most of our public officers by telling them what the people in their jurisdiction are facing, and let them know the negative impact that thing has been done to their community. And so far so good, to an extent we have been seeing a kind of good response.
Thank you very much.
Even those that has not been done, at least they try to make us to understand that, okay, fine, they've heard about it, they will see to it.
So, thank you very much. I can see someone saying, Mr. Oduwale Abiodun is member of our team, is saying that, well done, sir. We need political will on the part of leadership to actually entrench accountability and to fight corruption. That's what he's saying. So I think that's a very wonderful, is a laudable contribution that I think we are going to actually look at that. So, Mr. Ismail, so what's your take on that?
You see, talking about the political will, you see, watching closely at Nigeria generally, from the birth of democracy, that's from 1999 to that, one will have no option than believe that corruption is part of our political DNA. This is, and I think quickly also, Mr. John, I think it's very, very key that for people that are non-technical, that are joining us, and there's a need for us to shed more light on what accountability is, and talking about data, which type of data are we talking about?
Okay.
I think it's very, very important, because there are varieties of data, and people should know that when we are talking about using data to strengthen our institution or to make them accountable, we are talking about government data, and simply data can be simply defined as information.
Okay.
How available?
Okay, okay. Let me quickly educate people on that. I think that's a good point that you have actually
Very
made.
good point.
That,
Very
yeah,
good point.
and I think it's not just talking about data. We need to actually let people understand that, you know, data is not what the people will actually consume in the real sense of it. It's not what they will actually use. It's the information. After putting all this data together, and we're able to
Together,
gather them,
processes.
analyze them, process them, and actually turn them to a kind of things that people can understand. And I think that's what BudgIT did do. That's what they do. They designed, they shovel, they manipulate all this information in such a way that even a fool will actually
A
understand
layman will understand
what
what you
the
are
budget
purporting.
is actually saying in the real sense of it. Some actually comes in form of infographics, comes in form of information. In fact, at some point,
That
they
chart,
use, yes, a lot of them. So now that we have actually established that, yes, Mr. Auwal, I think you're okay now.
No,
Mr.
I'm not
Auwal,
yet okay because
yeah,
we are yet to give a clear definition or shed more light on what we mean by accountability. Of course, I know people have been hearing about transparency, accountability, blah blah blah.
yes,
But
yes, yeah, I
what
understand.
is accountability?
Yes, I understand. Now we are actually talking about shedding light on what data is all about, so that we'll be able to solve that
Yes,
problem
yes,
first, so that one
yes.
after the other will be able to deal with some of this issue. So now data. Now we have agreed. I think we all agreed that that is what data should be. The data that we are talking about here, that's what it is. And
Agreed.
and of course, technology can actually drive all of
Agreed.
these things. Yes. Okay,
sure.
now let's go to the word accountability itself. The word accountability. Yeah, you are a fellow of accountability. Yes, accountability lab. So, and I know that's why you are insisting on actually defining accountability in
Need
this.
that ability.
Yes. So now I will give you like 2 minutes to actually do justice to that.
Well, actually, 2 minutes for me is even too much.
Okay. Okay.
And simply accountability is simply the assurance that an individual or an organization can be evaluated based on performance for a
Okay.
certain responsibility they were given. Simply that's
Yes.
accountability. That's what accountability is to me. The
Oh, okay.
assurance that an individual or organization can be evaluated on their performance based
Okay.
on a certain responsibility they were given to carry out. To me, this is accountability.
So I think you should say something concerning accountability. You should define that accountability in terms of in Nigerian context. In Nigeria context.
What is Nigerian context?
Yes.
Well, to me, accountability is a generic term, and we can just be responsible. For example, let me set an example. Let me say I'm sick, and I want to see a doctor, a medical doctor in maybe in a nearby hospital, and maybe my friend Adeyemi is also sick, and he also want to see a medical doctor for a medical advice.
Attention.
Okay.
We have two people. There is Ismail and there is Adeyemi. Maybe Adeyemi knows how to book an appointment with a doctor.
Okay.
After knowing how to prescribe drugs, he knows where to pay his charges when he's charged, and he knows where to report if any of the medical services being rendered him goes wrong. And for me, I don't know how to book an appointment with the doctor. I don't know how the right payment is made when I was when drugs were prescribed to me. I don't even know where to get the drugs, and I don't know where to report any medical personnel that render poor services. Common experience will show that the doctor that we see Adeyemi, having at the back of his mind that Adeyemi is well equipped with those information I've mentioned earlier on, and the doctor that is going to see me has the information. Definitely, the doctor that is going to see Adeyemi is going to be more accountable than the doctor who is going to see me. And painting at this picture, what one will understand is the power of data, the power of information. It is that information that Adeyemi has that makes that medical doctor accountable. And it is that information that I'm lacking that is going to make the doctor that is going to see me not accountable. He may decide not to come to the hospital in time because he knows I cannot report him to an authority. So I think this is a simple example I can give about.
Okay. Let me add that.
I like that.
I love that illustration.
I'm coming to you. I like that illustration, and of course, I want to say that in simple terms, the fact, like when you are talking about accountability, is, you know, like a lot of us, we don't want to use the same word that was used to actually mention the concept, which is being accountable. But I think another word we can actually use is also being responsible. You know, responsible. Yeah, there is another word that we can use, because I don't want us to drag this too much, so that we can actually deal with some of the things that we have to deal with today. But Mr. Adeyemi,
let me say this for Nigeria, not Nigerian context. Is it the word accountable? Is the accountability just like when something happened between two personalities, and a kind of let's say organization and representative, whereby someone in between them has more is more privileged than the other. When you are more privileged than the other, you have information than the other, and you are liable to let the less privileged people to the information that this is what is on ground, this is what you're supposed to know, and this is how it's supposed to be. That means that to some fairness, you are able to show them what they need to know, so that you will be accountable for them. They will know that, okay, this person cannot hide anything for us, and whatever he says, we can trust him on that. That's it. When somebody is more privileged to others.
What I can take from that is actually trust, and of course, which in context of accountability is actually true. So let's quickly go to the next one, so that we can actually deal with some of this question. And what are the major accountability issues in Nigeria presently? What are the major, we are talking about data and technology. So what are the major accountability issues in Nigeria, Mr. Ismail? Mr. Ismail.
Data.
Yeah. Okay.
Data.
Okay.
Data and data.
Data. Okay.
You see,
okay.
You see, without reliable data,
yeah,
and accurate information,
yeah,
having an accountable institution is something that might be very, very, very difficult.
Okay.
And you see, not only having and the problem with data in to have an accountable institution is both two ways. One, from the government, the persuasive nature of the government of not willing to share information, and two, from the citizen side, the lack of technical know-how on even how to evaluate, validate, and even triangulate data. And sometimes, even when the government decided to make the data available for the general public to use, sometimes it is to be very, very user-unfriendly.
Yeah. Yes.
So to me, if we
not organized,
not organized. So to me, if you can get this clear, if the government can be ready to release a very, very clear data in a very, very open format, available for use and reuse of citizens, and from the citizen side, they can be able to empower themselves with the technical skills, that's how to evaluate data, how to visualize the data, and even how to translate the data. I think it's going to go a long way in making accountability.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ismail. I know you are going to say a lot, because you drive open government partnership in Kano. Yes. Wow. Now let me go to Mr. Adeyemi. Yes. So what's your take on that? He said data. Are you data and data too?
I'm data 1 million squared. This is data. See. One is like he said, like I said earlier, that we have different data from different purposes. So now my own is that I want to just cite example for what is happening currently.
Please,
so that people.
Hello, I don't want us to spend a lot of time on it. What are the major accountability issues in Nigeria? Stick to that, so that we don't.
Unreliable source of that good data.
Yes. Okay.
Unreliable source of good data. Even the data that are on ground. What is the tendency that the people can understand it? Like Mr. Auwal said, there are some data that are even on ground that people cannot understand it, they cannot picture it, they cannot know, okay, to this extent this will be useful. But by the time that everybody is well educated about different data, how they can use data, how they can formalize data, how they can process data, and they can deduce from that data process. When everybody is fully aware of that, I think this country can go a long way.
Okay. Oh, so now we have agreed, because we are not here to just discuss the problems that we have in Nigeria alone. We are actually here to come up with solutions, to actually come up with logical conclusion, and that's what we do at Act Up Africa. And of course, when you are trained by Civic IF, you are trained by Accountability Lab, you must be development oriented. And of course, I want to say that we have all mentioned data as part of the major issue that we have in terms of accountability. Yes, I agree totally. And we need to understand that even the data that we are actually talking about, it should be the right of the Nigerian people to actually have access to all of this data. Because in the first place, it's our data, not anybody's data. It's our data. You collected my data, I should have access to my data. So, for example, we talk about information. In fact, we even have FOI, Freedom of Information. Of course, we have a Freedom of Information Act of 2011, if I mentioned that correctly. So we don't even have to entrench good government. We don't actually need to force the government to actually give the data that belongs to me in the first place. Because it's the government of the people, by the people,
for the people.
If I'm part of the people that you are talking about, then I shouldn't actually force you to actually give me what is mine. So let's move to the next one. In fund recovery, is fund recovery the same as fighting corruption using Nigerian context? Mr. Auwal, fund recovery, like those, the looted money that we are actually recovering in Nigeria. You know, there is a particular head of state that keeps sending money to us every time, here and there, now and then. So and we keep collecting some of this money, and we have some politicians too that they are sent to jail. Some are in jail, and some are actually returning money on the ground of plea bargaining. I don't want to go into that yet, but they are actually returning money on the level of so many other platforms. But is that the same as fighting corruption, Mr. Auwal?
Well, talking about the looted funds and talking about that generous form out of state that will always send us a check when we are in their need.
Okay.
You see, there are four pillars of accountability.
Okay.
We have responsibility.
Please come over again. Okay.
We have responsibility, answerability, trustworthiness, and liability. Liability. See, one has to be liable, one has to be trustworthy, one has to be answerable, and one has to be responsible.
Wow.
And putting this looted fund in this context, how answerable has the government been on answering public question about what it uses the looted fund for.
Okay.
How responsible has the government been in making sure that the general public knows how and where this looted fund is spent? How trustworthy are these institutions are?
Okay.
And how can we rely on this institution on the context of this looted fund? I think those that are following us are going to answer. I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, you're not okay.
Yes.
You want us to do deductive reasoning. You want us to infer on our own. Okay. Yes. Okay. I don't want to say anything too because I'm still Nigerian. So yes, Mr. Adeyemi. So what's your take?
I want just to back to what Mr. Auwal said. He talked about the responsibility, the trustworthy, and
answerability.
But answerability, and that's it. You know, when something of such happens, people of knowledgeable like you and I, we want to know what and where does this money goes. Okay, they tell us this so amount have been gotten. Even if the money has been used on this, let people add full information on it. Let them know that okay, what this thing has been used for is true something. For example, let's say let's say our debt service now. I just want to use that. Let's say our debt servicing is 1.5 million. And the money we realize is 750,000. If you now bring 500,000 out of 750,000, we realize that part of the debt service, we have paid 500,000 out of it, remaining 1 million. And people see the data. People will say, okay, these people are what they are accountable to. So that is what we are saying. That is it like what Mr. Auwal said? Is it that these people are answerable to us? Are responsible to us, and they can give everything needed to the citizen, because as a citizen, as a taxpayer, you must know how the public funds are being spent. I don't want to say much.
Okay, you don't want to say much too. It seems all Nigerians are defenders. They are all players at the back end of the Okay, now let me quickly say this. Let me take in some of the comments of people that are online. Okay. We have Mr. Akintolu Morakiyo. He said, I guess there are some research institutions that are meant to always enlighten the population to digest this data. Yes, we have organizations that are actually in research organizations that are actually in charge of this thing. We have those that are public that this government owns, and we have those that are actually private owned. We have those that are non-profit. Example of those that are non-profit is someone that we have on ground presently, is the representative of BudgIT in Ibadan. Yes, he represents Tracker and BudgIT at the same time in Ibadan. So I've worked with him. In fact, BudgIT is a kind of household name that people actually use their data a lot. And of course, we have organizations like MBS also for the federal government that actually analyze some of this data. Although they give us humongous data that you may not understand sometimes. Like you have to get a PhD in data analysis before you can actually understand them. And that's why we have organizations like my organization that will work on simplifying budget too. We have organizations like Accountability Lab that works on simplifying budget as well. We have organizations. Actually, there is no competition. I can keep mentioning some of these organizations that just for the purpose of education for people that are listening to us, that you can always go online and search for all these organizations. They are not operating in vacuum. They are not operating in silo. They relate. BudgIT is a relationship with Tracker. They are a relationship with connected development, connected development code. Yes, code. They are connected. Udemy and the rest of them. A lot of them, they work on some of these things. So, in fact, Civic Space, we are knowledge-driven civic space. This circle is so good that you can always get what you want. Then we have another comment as well. I think access to data by the people is one of the barriers that is making it difficult for people to demand accountability. As long as vital public data are shrouded in secrecy, getting accountability may be difficult. Similarly, the people in the civil society need to up their game in making data available to the people. The member of the civil society have a vital role to play in this regard. Yes, Mr. Abiodun Oduwale, thank you very much. I know the reason why I can write is an activist too. We work together. Is a champion for Act of Africa as well. So what he's saying here is that the civil society needs to do a lot of work. We need to, of course, that's our job, to enlighten people, to educate people on things that they need to know. And of course, I want to encourage most of the civil society. It's not about doing the work on the field alone. It's not about building houses. Because if we must make the government work, we need to put information in the hand of the people in a way that they will understand. You know, it's not just about getting data out there, but we need to simplify it in such a way that people understand it. Like, for example, I remember when I first I first started a relationship with BudgIT. The only thing I saw was that their tracker leaflet. I think that should be in 2007. Yes, that publication. And you know me, I'm Oliver Twist. I don't stop until I get what I want. I keep sending to them. I want Yoruba version of this thing, and they told me whatever version you want, we are not going to give you. So that's what I'm saying is the civil society needs to actually do more. So let's quickly go. Let's move ahead with what we have here. The next thing that we have on our agenda is what role do you think data, that is open data, can play in entrenching good governance in Africa and Nigeria in particular? Let me take the question again. What role do you think data, that is open data, can play in entrenching good governance in Africa and Nigeria in particular? What role can data play in entrenching good governance? Let me start with okay, go ahead. Yes.
Firstly, data we create more level of transparency.
Okay.
When data is available, it enhances transparency. It enhances accountability. It enhances reliability and assurance that when data are being given to people, when the assets needed, people begin to understand that these data are meant for everything to work and to make the transparency, so that it will remove a kind of prejudice in their sense of belonging. So people will understand and people will believe that it will go like that. And when it goes like that, we are talking about real data. When it goes like that, things will work well in Africa and Nigeria as a nation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Auwal. Your take.
To me, if the government can make data to be a digital public infrastructure, just like roads, bridges, and what have you, and from the citizen side, if the citizens could be able to comprehend this information that the government is sending out, it's going. You see, and please, to make something very, very clear, it's not always that transparency is linked with accountability. It's not always. It can be linked, but not always.
Not always.
But when the data is available, it will some kind of foster accountability, of course, and it will empower citizens to claim its rights. One, it will help the citizens in measuring the performance of the government. It will also increase the level of feedback from the citizens to the government, and it will also connect citizens and government. And indirectly, it is going to give or make those fundamental pillars of democracy more visible to the citizens, and that will increase trust the citizens have for its government.
Okay, thank you very much. I think yes, I'm enjoying this. I'm seriously enjoying this because from what you guys have said, now we mentioned the fact that the role we're actually analyzing the role of data in entrenching good governance, and for me, I believe it's going to encourage trust on both sides. The people will be able to, sometimes I tell people that the politicians, don't let me use this maybe to be too strong, it's a kind of, they are not playing too smart with things, because if you are being smart, what you would do is when you make information available, it makes the people trust you the more. It reduces the amount you are going to even spend on election in the first place, because when the people trust you, you don't have to say a lot before they actually opt for you, because they already trust your word. They can take your word to the bank, actually. So it's a kind of win-win. The people get what they want, the type of government they want, like the government they can trust, and of course the government too, they have rest of mind, because people in government, if the people are not satisfied, of course they keep protesting. I don't know if you noticed, last year we experienced a whole lot of protests last year, ranging from bring back our girls, from don't do the NAS should stop this, Senate should not do that, because for everything that there is, yes, SARS and SARS, a lot of them, because we don't actually believe most of the things that the government actually put forward, and that is because we don't actually see, they don't open up their book. There's a word that was mentioned there, that is open data. That will be a discussion for another day, because open data is one thing that we need to actually discuss and educate people about. And of course, not just about open data, we need to actually understand that not all data that can be used to engage government. Any government, any data that are actually not official, they are not data that you can actually use to drive advocacy in the real sense of it. So these are part of the things that we actually need to educate ourselves about. And of course, I believe that in governance as well, in entrenching good governance, good data will help the government to actually do proper planning. Like for example, because if you look at what we have during COVID-19 now, it is absolutely clear that we don't actually have a homegrown developmental data. We don't have. And the fact that we don't have that kind of data that are reliable, that can solve our problem, then that means our government, we are not going anywhere in terms of development. So data is actually something that is very important. Data, there's no governance. You can't run the government without actually relying solely on government. I still believe that a lot of people want to actually add their comments. So if you want to add your comment, please, you can actually send it to us. You can send your comment to us. We are here to actually listen to your own opinion too. Now, let me quickly ask this question as well. How can open data and technology help raise active citizens in Nigeria? Mr. Auwal.
How can open data and technology help
raise active citizens in Nigeria?
This is very, very clear, Mr. John. And go back to some years back, before before budget, before COD, and before organizations that work around urban access to budget and making it very, very clear for people to understand. Looking at what budget is doing, you see the way budget translate data is they do it in such a way that even the common men will understand. And
yes.
that has increased the responsibility of the government. That because it is very clear that government are aware that there are certain class or group of people that are following up on what we budgeted for a certain project, how we spend it, and is the project is the project completed in time or not. And that of course has increased the responsibility of the government, and in the other hand have made this citizens group like budget and code.
Okay. Mr. Auwal.
More open data.
Hello, Mr. Auwal.
Hi. Yes, I can listen to you, John.
Your network actually broke while you are making the last statement. Please, can you come back again?
My network?
Yes.
My network?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what I was simply saying is how the part of organizations like budget and code have increased. I know for example like code. I know code have volunteers almost in every
all over the country,
because
almost in all over the country,
and that has made the citizens active and responsible. That has made the citizens a common man to know that he has the right to question government spending, and even has the right to put information or give input on how government should do their spending. We have always witnessed how citizens goes to House of Assemblies in both in state and federal level to make input on how they think the government should spend the money they collect, the money government collected from their hand as taxes. So I think having this will go a long way in making citizens very, very active and responsible.
Thank you very much. I think you have given your opinion concerning that.
No.
Have you given? No. Yeah. You have not given your opinion. Okay. Go ahead. Let me give you the question again. Let me read the question again. How can open data and technology help raise active citizens in Nigeria?
I just want to start from for example, let me just use Twitter handle. I want to make use of Twitter handle. Like last week, something happened. A road was just constructing, but the construction was gone, and some people see the shamble work that is being done there, and instantly the person take the picture and the video and he sent it to the tracker handle. I was invited. Yes, he sent it to the tracker handle, and I was invited to go and see to that thing. When I got there, I saw it, and I see what we are saying that is very, very good. When the open data is available, it will increase the active citizen. It will make sure that, before people will say that they don't know that this thing is going, like many people will do meet on a daily basis. But as time as they've known that there are some things like on Twitter handle like Udeme, different NGO that see to activities. People is now reporting to us. Like me now, I have so many people that say, Mr. Adeyemi, I want to be a volunteer. I've been giving some information in our area, in Shaki and some other states like that. Yeah, and it's because of due to the data. I think we are not using tech and data altogether. We be not our scope will be somehow limited. But by the time we are using data and tech, the scope will be enlarging, and people will be really responding to it, so that swift response will create continuity in the activity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. I think we need, there's something that we have actually missed in trying to address that question. I think we need to first define what an active citizen is all about. If you are watching us online, I've actually put the definition of an active person. An active citizen is on the screen. You can always see it there. Is a person who actively takes responsibility and initiates and take initiative in areas of public concern, such as crime prevention and the local community development. In terms of that, I want to believe that Mr. The actor, BudgIT and Tracker actually saw me. They actually linked up with me because they discovered that I'm actually an active citizen in my community. And so it's being an active citizen is about taking initiative. I've actually led several initiatives in my community, and these are part of the things that we need to first understand as individual, that being an active citizen is not a rocket science. It's something that we can do. When you see something, say something. When something is wrong, try to address that situation and know the right place to go. Then, and that question is actually talking about open data and technology, how it can actually raise active citizens. Now, the thing is, if information is free, every one of us will like free things. Even you, Mr. Auwal, I know you like free things. Mr. If I give you an iPad for free now, I'm sure you will like it. So
Sure.
We all have something free that you don't have to spend your money on. Sometimes when you want to spend some cash on something, it restricts you from getting that thing done. So if information is open, when the sources of information are actually very easy to actually access and is driven by technology, we need to understand that youth and technology, they are actually they go together. So that means what we are saying here is that if data are open and they are driven by technology, like what BudgIT do, other organizations do, we don't have to develop all these massive technology. No. We don't have to do a fact sheet like America CIA. We don't have to do that. But you can use your Twitter you can use your Facebook, like several organizations like Act of Africa. I won't be mentioning other big organizations again. Let me start mentioning our own organization as well. So, like what we do to actually engage people, these are part of the things that we can actually use. You can use your WhatsApp to actually communicate with people. Okay, let me quickly tell you about the technology that we are actually working on at Act of Africa. If you know the word Act of Africa, actofafrica.com.ng. .com.ng. That's our website. You can visit that website, and there you will see a particular place where we said social mapping. That place, what we did was to make the places where development projects and extractive project has actually been carried out. We place them on the map, in such a way. We want to make it so simple that you don't have to start reading before you can actually see places where development project has taken place. So these are part of the simple technology, and the funnest part is we actually use a kind of open source. The website is based on open source, and the map of itself is OpenStreet, and the technology we actually use is actually open. So we are actually using open technology to actually drive open data, so that people can actually have access to some of this information, and in turn, they become active. They be able to ask questions. Like, for example, we have engaged several governors in Southwest, and they keep answering us because they know that the question we are asking, they are actually based
on
facts. So now let me quickly ask. I only have 2 questions to go so that I can release you guys. I've taken much of your time. So the question is this: how important or how useful are the view of general public in generating development data? Like, you want to generate data. We have been talking about data. Mr. Data and data. Mr. Auwal. Now, how important is the view of people, contribution of the people in generating development data? How important is that?
Well, I think you are talking from this is 2 angles, of course.
Okay.
When you're talking of using the public or the general citizens to generate data. I
Okay.
think it's two angles. That is, for example, when before any government or institution do its budget, it is very, very critical and key for the institution or the government to consult the citizens in knowing, because you see, it is very, very excellent for a governor to go and build a road in a certain community. But what if that is a community or society needs school, not road? What if you build a school in a community that needs road instead of school? So that is why it is very, very critical and key for us to consult people living in a particular community before you spend its money on the community.
God bless you.
This is from this angle. And also from evaluating how government spend or carried out this project, it is also very, very critical and key for the citizens group or the civil society organization, after collecting information out, to know, to collect the information and also do a compare and contrast between the information they collected from the government and that of the citizens, to see if there's any loophole. I think this is what I'm going to say concerning collecting information related from the citizens.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mr. Adeyemi.
Thank you,
Mr. Adeyemi.
Question again, please.
Yes, how important is the contribution, is the people, contribution of the people towards generating development data? How important, you know?
If you look at the question, it's very, very important, because when we are talking about development must come from the community. And before we say, there is difference between growth and development. And the issue is that if the political officers, like what Mr. Auwal said, failed to consult different or respective political, different community representative about their domestic communal challenges. Like, what are their challenges? For example, from our work, I've gotten different information whereby a bowl of water has been facilitated, whereby they have a lot of water and the school is what they needed. So putting a wrong pen in a wrong pen in a right way is very, very wrong. So if you are talking about development, the people are governed are the most thing to give priority to. Priority has to give to people. Visualize it, see it, then see how things will work before we say that you go on for a project. Because before you do it's a project that will create an enabling environment. And if you are doing a project that is not needed, it's just a
like
they call
waste of time.
White elephant project. And that's the most problem we are. It's no, I'm a field worker. That's the most problem we are having. That what are the challenges of people are not met. People are not consulted before a project is being facilitated, and you see that this thing is not going to enhance development. But when people are rightfully consulted before nominating a project or before seeing what the political officer need to do, I think the issue of development can be enhanced.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I need to say one or two things concerning this, because this is not about questioning you guys, it's about us discussing this matter. Now, I think development, in gathering development data, the people should be at the heart of the whole thing. Yes, because talking about government, we are talking about democracy. I will always use that basic definition. That is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And whatever that is not having the input of the people in it is not democracy. I said, I always tell people that if we are going to practice democracy, we should practice democracy. But if we are not going to practice democracy, then we should let democracy go, because democracy only rides on the people, So I think it is important that we know that governance should be participatory government. When you are budgeting, it should be participatory budgeting. so that people can actually contribute. Just like what two of you have actually said, that you can't tell me, I invited you to a particular community, a Tose community in Monia. I invited you to that community where we realized that the number of borehole that was dug, that was sunk in that place was actually too much. Whereas another community immediately after it, they don't have water. They don't have water. They lack water. These are part of the things that we are talking about, that the people should be, governance should be participatory, budgeting should be participatory. Thank God in Oyo State, we were part of those people that drive the process. Of course, BudgIT was BudgIT, Open Alliance by BudgIT are the one actually leading the process. But I'm actually part of those people that pioneered the process in Oyo State. So we have been able to achieve this in Oyo State, whereby we now have participatory budgeting. Now they are talking about participatory monitoring and evaluation. So these are part of the things that I think we need to understand, that by gathering data that will lead to development, we need to include the people. We must have participatory budgeting. We have community engagement. We must engage the community. We must do what we call community mobilization, so that the people themselves will identify their own problem. They will identify their own problem. It's not like someone will just sit in one corner of his office and just think that, okay, I think these people, they need road. I think these people, they need water. I think that, yeah, thank you. It won't be like you will go and bring a law from Singapore and apply it on us in Nigeria. When I'm black, my color is black, but their own is white. You can't apply the same thing that applies to them. Let's develop homegrown solutions in Nigeria, data that are homegrown, data that are developed right here in Nigeria. So what I'm saying is, we need to actually involve the people in mapping their own problem, prioritizing their own problem, and let them come up with solutions. That is the only time we can actually develop data that can be people-centric and that can lead to development. Thank you very much. At this point, I want to say the last question for two of you. The last question. Considering the advancement in technology in Africa, do you think data gathering through technology is the best means of gathering development-oriented data for Africa and Nigeria in particular? Mr. Auwal.
Not only the best, but the easiest way. You see, what you are mistaken is, is you should know that technology is always an enabler.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. This is the mistake we make most of the time. And whenever we are talking of technology, we might not necessarily be talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, all those big technology. Technology can be as simple as your WhatsApp. It can be as simple as your Facebook. It can be as simple as your SMS. So this is what we should understand. And I think either from the simplest level of SMS, to the level of artificial intelligence, in between, we can be able to find a technology that will suit the level of our development. And the best way to go in this time is using technology.
Yeah, Mr. Adeyemi.
Question again, sir.
The question is, considering the type of technology, the technology advancement in Africa. Yes, in Africa, we know we are behind the Western world. Yes, in terms of technology.
Sure.
Do you think the best form of data gathering is for us to use technology?
Let me start with this. We have raw data, which is primary data.
Yeah.
And we have secondary data. I see technology as a driven tools.
Yeah. Okay.
On raw data. So I don't see a data through technology only as what that can bring development. It can be, but we have to go back to our primary, which is raw data, which we now make use with technology, implementation. So Your raw data or primary data is the key. That will make data to be reliable. Let me put it that, raw data or primary data is more reliable than secondary data, and secondary data is what you can get through different means of technology. So both together give us, but we should rely more on primary data, which is raw data.
Okay. Now, Mr. Adeyemi is actually, I'm actually drawing a conclusion for what you guys have said. Mr. Ismail has actually told us that the issue of technology is actually an enabler, and of course, it's not just useful, it's not just important, but it's so important. So now, and Mr. Adeyemi, I think the angle where you are coming from is that we need to blend the two together. We need to blend both the primary data and the one created using technology. Of course, there is no way you can actually create infographics. You have to go and get data, of course. I know what you guys go through. I know what Tracker go through. I know what BudgIT go through. I know what code, as in connected development. I know what these guys go through. I know what I go through too. You write number of FY. I think we have met. There was a day we went to drop letter. So we met as secretariat to drop freedom of information. Sometimes you use months to actually get one single information. In fact, there is one that is still pending. It's almost 7 months now. But because we want to avoid confrontations, so we still left all those things just to let them slip. Seriously, I really want to appreciate you guys for really coming on board. Mr. Ismail is from Kano. Please, can you introduce yourself once again so that they want to link up with you? Yes, Mr. Ismail.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm from Kano, and I'm with African Center for Transparency and Anti-Corruption Advocacy.
Okay, and Mr. Adeyemi.
I'm from Oyo State, residing here in Ibadan. I'm representing BudgIT and Tracker here in Ibadan.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on the program. Seriously, we'll be doing this more often, and of course, I'm a lover of data, not just junk. I don't love junk data, but I love data. I love people that understand development, people that understand community engagement. And of course, very soon I'll be bringing someone that will talk about environmental impact assessment audit. That will be talking about it. Yes, because that's what we do. We do social audit and, of course, audit of environment as well. So my name is, let me quickly introduce myself too. My name is John Oluwafemi Olla. A lot of people will start questioning my Olla. Which type of Olla is OWLA? Whatever you like, argue with your keyboard. My name is John Oluwafemi Olla. I'm the team lead for Act Up Africa. And of course, I met this man called Mr. Ismail at Accountability Lab Fellowship. Yes. And we are still under that incubation program. And I linked up with him, and I know he's loaded. And of course, Mr. Adeyemi, I've worked with him. He's a field person. You want to get data, talk to him. You want to get things done, he's a firebrand. So once again, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much. And for people that actually commented, for Mr. Duwale, thank you very much. We really appreciate you. Mr. Ishola Abiodun, thanks for coming online. He was the first person that told us that the network wasn't good and they weren't so audible enough. And Mr. Akintolu Morakiyo and several other people that has been online from the beginning to the end. Thank you very much. We really appreciate this. And until next time we meet again, what we do is to raise active citizens. At Act of Africa, we raise active citizens. And of course, Mr. Ismail too, what he does is raising active citizens as well. Mr. Adeyemi is also working for an organization that actually works to raise active citizens. And once again, I want to appreciate some organizations. I want to appreciate Civic Hive. Yes, they actually invested a lot in me. I want to appreciate Accountability Lab. Yes, I want to really appreciate them for a wonderful job, for so much they've actually invested in it. And I want to appreciate my my mentor that actually gingered this in me. You know, Miss Iyonu Han. I want to appreciate her, and of course the big boss. Let me just say hi to the big bosses, Mr. Iyanu Bolaniwa. I want to say wonderful. Thank you very much. Of course, the big boss at the budget, Mr. Okewo Gabriel. Thank you very much. The boss himself, Mr. Onigbile Shew. Thank you very much. Mr. Ode Friday. Thank you very much. Omojo and all the rest of them. Thank you very much. So I want to say thank you.
Online?
No, it's not online. I don't know. Maybe he's watching somewhere.
Okay.
But because I sent the stuff to him as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Bye. Okay. You can just say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.